or High. Manchester, the city and the metropolitan area in northwest England, the county of Greater Manchester. Less than the semi-million city has the million agglomeration, largest in the region, Greater Manchester. The 9th largest city of Great Britain. And the 8th England. Along with Birmingham, Leeds, Sheffield, Liverpool and London, Manchester was one of the centres of industrial revolution. Now Manchester, the large cultural, industrial, financial, commercial and transport centre of the country. The mechanical engineering, the textile, chemical, light, paper industry is developed. The Manchester University is one of the most prestigious in Great Britain. There is a city museum and art gallery. For the first time, Manchester is mentioned in the 10th century. Its settlement arose on the place of the Celtic settlement of Mancinium and the Roman strengthened Mancinium camp, which was founded in the 79th year. In the Middle Ages, the trade and craft town. Rapid growth of the city in connection with industrial revolution began with the middle of the 18th century. In 1789, at the cotton enterprise of Peter Drinkwater, the steam engine appeared. In the 19th century, the city became the world leader among the centres of the textile industry. In 1830, the 1840th years, Manchester was the centre of supporters of a fritraderstvo, free trade. In 1868 in Manchester, the first Congress of the British Trades Union Congress, for several years which united all labour unions of Great Britain, took place. On August 16, 1819, on St. Peter's Square, there was a meeting with the requirement of universal suffrage, which is cruelly suppressed by government troops, a so-called Manchester slaughter, a fight at Peterloo as hussars, participants of Battle of Waterloo, took part in her. During World War II, since August 1940, Manchester was exposed to the massive bombings of Luftwaffe striking as peace objects. For example, the Manchester Cathedral and the industrial enterprises working for providing armed forces. A series of bombings in the night of 22 on 23 and with 23 for December 24, 1940, known as Christmas Blitz, was the most destructive. In 2006 in Manchester there lived card people. In 2007, 458,100 people. According to 2013, the population of the city makes 514,417 people. 69% of citizens belong to the title nation. Every third Mancunian is a descendant of Irish, also the Jewish community conceding on number only. London is also influential. The city, the important centre of a railway system, National Rail. In 1830, the first ever railroad, Liverpool, Manchester, having the movement on the schedule, was started up. In the city there is the country's fourth in-load airport, International Airport. It opened in 1992, the country's first and one of the first in Europe, the modern tram and easily rail Manchester Metrolink system, which was created from scratch several decades later after the first tram system existing in 1877-1949 work in the city, agglomeration and the county. In Manchester there is a big network of educational institutions, including more than 170 comprehensive schools of the most different directions and formats, from modern multinational public institutions to classical schools which history contains about several centuries. In addition to it, in the city there are also other educational institutions. Specialized colleges offer the diverse courses, such as bases of design skill or psychological trainings for pregnant women. The most known of all higher education institutions of Manchester is the Manchester University, keeping rich scientific heritage. Among present and former students and staff of the university there are 25 Nobel laureates. The university arose due to merging of the University of Victoria and Institute of Science and Technology. The last appeared in 1824 when city industrialists and businessmen decided to open educational institution for the purpose of training of workers in fundamentals of natural sciences. The University of Victoria was created in 1851 as Owens's College. The successful textile worker John Owens bequeathed a large sum of money for his construction. In 1880 the college took out the royal patent and became England's first civil educational institution. After more than centenary joint scientific work, two highest educational institutions finally united on October 22, 2004, having turned into the uniform university. Besides, in Manchester the City University of Manchester, the biggest in the United Kingdom on the space occupied by him and one of the most popular among entrants of the country, is located. Here more than students study. The history of this educational institution begins in 1824 with the advent of Institute of Mechanics. Within the next century several schools of the higher education and colleges were attached to Institute. In 1970 it became polytechnical, and in 1992 acquired the status of the university. From architecture monuments in Manchester of close attention, the Gothic Cathedral of the 15th century, the old St. Petersburg Stock Exchange built in style of classicism in the 19th century deserve. Fans of the fine arts can visit Art Gallery, in which the rich collection of the English art of the 17th, 19th centuries is collected. The museums of Manchester are devoted to the Roman history of Manchester, industrial heritage and a role of the city in industrial revolution, the textile industry, the trade union movement, suffrage of women and soccer. The reconstructed part of the Roman Fort Museum is open for public in Castlefield. The Museum of Science and Industry, located at the former railway station Liverpool Road, represents a big collection of engines, the industrial equipment, planes and the exact copy of the first ever computer constructed by the principle of joint storage in memory of data and the program. In Transport Museum there is a collection of historical buses and trams. In the Park of Trafford the northern branch of Imperial War Museum is located. The Manchester Museum, open for public in the 1880th years, owns a rich collection on Egyptology and natural history. In Municipal Manchester Art Gallery on Mosley Street there is a constant collection of the European painting and also one of the largest British collections of pictures of pre-Raphaelites. In the south of the city the Art Gallery Utrecht, devoted to the modern art, sculpture and textiles, is located. In 2015 it was recognized by the Museum of the Year. Among other exhibition platforms and the museums of Manchester, Illington Mill in Salford, the National Museum of Soccer in Erbis, Castlefield Gallery, Manchester Gallery of Issoute in the Park Platfields End, the Museum of National History and the Manchester Jewish Museum. Works of the artist 50. S. Laurie, famous for the match pictures with landscapes of industrial Manchester and Salford, who was born in Stretford. It is possible to see both in city galleries, and in Whitworth's galleries, and also in the Laurie Centre to Salford Quays, where there is a constant art exhibition. In Manchester there are most known and oldest libraries of England. John Raylands's Library, Library of the Manchester University, the Central Library Manchester, Shattamsky Library, the oldest free public help library in the English-speaking world. The Manchester musical scene appeared in the late 70s under the influence of a punk rock, and in particular the Sex Pistols punk group, which gave the concert in Manchester. At this concert there were almost all stars of future scene. The Manchester musical scene is remarkable the fact that it is one of the most important components of a so-called new wave. The most famous representatives of the Manchester musical scene are such groups as Lamb, Joy Division, New Order is later, Happy Mondays, The Smiths, The Stone Roses, A Certain Ratio, The Rooty Column, Electronic, James, The Other Two, Revenge, Section 25, Stockholm Monster, Buzzcocks, Take That, The Awake, The Wendy's, The Ting Tings, The Courteeners, Oasis, Hertz. About the Manchester musical scene tell such movies as The Round-the-Clock Partygoers, Control and many others. In honor of Manchester, the asteroid 758 of Mankinia, by the Latin name of the city, opened in 1912 by the South African astronomer Harry Wood, the native of Manchester, is called. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.